Welcome. I'm Sebastian Mahfood, and you're listening to WCAT Radio, the on-air wing of En Route Books and Media, bringing you the dulcet sounds of Catholic wisdom.
Welcome to our FOLS webinar, April the 26th. We have the webinar Transforming Content into a Learning Experience, ReadyForOnline, that's being presented by Alin Vrancila. And Alin Vrancila is the Director of the Educational Initiatives with Moody Distance Learning and is the co-founder of ReadyForOnline. He teaches on campus and online and has been doing that for the past 8 years. He's a former CRM manager and a web consultant with more than 10 years of experience. Alin earned his BS in Computer Science and Marketing, his MA in Intercultural Studies, and he is currently a doctoral candidate at Oxford Center for Mission Studies in Oxford, United Kingdom. His research focuses is the Christian online education, developing a new paradigm for course development. Alin is actively and passionately involved in community development work in South Sudan and is involved with a campaign to help feed people affected by the recent civil war called Grain for Pain. Together with his wife, Diane, they live in Portland, Oregon, and they have 2 daughters, Josephine Kate and Isla Joy. We're glad to have you, Alin, today, and we are excited. Am I off? Oh.
No, you're good.
Okay, I thought I was off. Oh, okay, we're excited to have you today for our webinar. We're going to mute our microphones, and we'll let you get started.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. As I said, I did lose my voice just 2 days ago. I didn't do anything for that. But I hope you can hear me really well. And very thankful for the opportunity to share with you a little bit of my journey and the experience of higher education and a little bit of innovation. So today is all about innovating ideas and why it's important for us to consider that innovation. I have with me here on the call Daniel Pitario. He is the co-founder, so the other half of the co-founding of ReadyForOnline. And we are combining the two of best worlds. He is a technologist, and I am part of the academic. So I've been involved with the academic world for the past 8 years in online learning, teaching, developing courses, and on the admin level. So I started with the CRM world, with the customer relationship management and the technology world, and then moved to the dark side of academic 8 years, 6, 7 years ago, and loved it ever since. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about ReadyForOnline, and it's very easy to learn more about it by going to readyforonline.com. So I'll tell you a little bit of how ReadyForOnline started. Some of you might actually identify with our journey and where this started. And then what I want to do is walk you through the actual platform. So I'm going to share my screen and walk you through the platform and what it does. Hopefully it's going to trigger a very good discussion today with some very good questions. And I am looking for 2 types of questions. The practical questions that come from what you're going to see, how does this work? Have you considered this? Have you looked at this and all that? But also philosophical and academic questions on the broader discussion that is at stake here, and that is online education or education at large. So I welcome those types of discussions today. ReadyForOnline started when I was part of the instructional design team at Moody Bible Institute Distance Learning. I'm very proud of distance learning at Moody Bible Institute. Moody Bible Institute actually was part of the timeline of correspondence education in the world. It started in 1901. So D.L. Moody started correspondence education in 1901 when he realized that the need was far greater than just downtown Chicago to train lay people with biblical education. So on the timeline of correspondence education in the world, Moody Bible Institute, a small Bible college at that time in Chicago, sits on that timeline of world correspondence or distance education. So there's strong legacy of that, but they continued with the online education and did some really cool things of questioning the status quo, of moving online education in different areas. So at Access, we won 5 or 6 years in a row the Course of the Year award. But this year, Larry came from the left field, and Tyndall came in and just got our course of the year, and we're really proud of him. Actually, very thankful for that. So you have in this webinar course of the year awards here, right? So the people that really are passionate about online education and Christian online education. So as I was situated in the instructional design department, we went to an Access conference that was 3 years ago, and we put on the whiteboard we actually wrote down on the whiteboard the entire process of course design, the entire process. After teaching online 8 years, I came to almost the same conclusion you came as a practitioner, Vicky. As a practitioner, I came to the conclusion that once the course is designed in a certain format or way, there's very little that you can do as an adjunct professor or as an instructor to really change that, right? So what it means is that we should put more emphasis on the course design than just on instruction. Instruction has changed, so faculty and teaching methods have improved tremendously over the past 10 years. Even I, as an adjunct, I started with just doing a talking head video in front of my students, and all the way until last year, I'm recording videos with my drone and getting them engaged in VR and all these kind of things to make sure that they get all kinds of perspectives, and I connect with my students through Zoom and all that. So there's been a lot of changes, but very few changes in the instructional design world or philosophy or even software development in that area. Very few changes that in the past 10 years. So that should tell you that the movement and the innovation in those two worlds of teaching and course design, instructional design, are not really scaling on par, right? So we wrote down on a whiteboard everything that happens in the process, the process of course design. And after we took 5 steps back to see the whole whiteboard, I realized back then with Kevin Mahaffey, the director of instructional design, that this is not sustainable. That because this is such a manual process and so decentralized, it does not offer a lot of room for quality. Even though we have to do this manually, we have to watch every single the lesson objectives, course objectives, discussions with the SMEs, everything that happens. I'm preaching to the choir here, I'm pretty certain. But it doesn't allow a lot of room for creativity because you're so overwhelmed with the process and the workload. It doesn't allow a lot of room for making sure that everything is connected and aligned. So we came back with some of the major questions of what does truly make a quality course. And so there are 2 definitions that I came up with. One is a quality course is a course that is aligned. Aligned. What does that mean? That means that the program description with the program educational goals, warning, I'm going to take some time telling you about alignment here. The program description, program educational goals, student learning outcomes, course description, course objectives, lesson objectives, assignments, discussions, everything in those get aligned. Especially in 16-week courses or even 8-week courses, you see objectives starting really strong, but by the end of week 7 or 8, they have lost all focus. There are assignments in that class that have nothing to do. It's a course about theology, and the assignment can be the human development. It's just, it gets lost in the translation. So that becomes problematic when courses are not aligned with the programs, when assignments are not aligned with the course description, and so on and so forth. And another definition of course quality is relevance. Because it takes so long to develop a course, 6 months, a year in development, and it takes so long to revise a course, up to 5 years, 6 years that the university has never touched a course, even though it's a very good course, nobody has questions about it, but 6 years for a course to stay untouched when it comes to course content, I think that raises a lot of questions. But because this machine of instructional design, of the academia machine is so complex, if you make one small change in a course, triggers a series of unintended and intended consequences that some people don't want to deal with. So all this actually pushed us to say, I think we need a software that centralizes the entire course development process into one location. people, content, courses, programs, all sitting into one location. So that's the vision behind ReadyForOnline. Now, before I show you the solution and I walk you through the logic behind it, please stop me anytime, anywhere. If you have more questions, it's going to take me hours to walk you through the whole solution. That's not the time we have today. I'm only going to show you major categories of principles behind the software. So you please stop me any given time and ask me a question so we can drill more in something that you'll be more interested in. So even if from my sit today, right now already, if you have questions, please say them now before I share my screen so we can have a discussion about it. Are we in agreement that that's a problem overall? Is that something that was just specific to Moody Distance Learning, or do you think this is on the landscape of higher education, some of the problems that I've mentioned?
I would have to agree with you. I think that there's an expectation from administration that this process will be quick. Mm-hmm. And I think that we have spent years fulfilling that prophecy. I know that I've often had one semester to get a whole course together, and it's not enough. We're reaching the point now, actually on Monday I'm going into a meeting to tell the dean that under the current structures, we cannot deliver what's being asked of us. Mm-hmm. And the problem is, as the instructional design person, I'll come in and make recommendations, but until I've got the dean backing me up publicly, the faculty disregard. Mm-hmm. And they fall back into their same old ways that says, if I'm done a week before I have to deliver, everything's good. And they don't understand the premise that production takes time. Mm-hmm. And that, crafting a learning outcome around learning objectives is not a small task. Mm-mm. I'm lucky if I can do one a day.
Yep. If it's a good one.
If it's a good one. I mean, I can crank these things out in no time, but it's...
I know.
Not very good.
And
so I think you're talking about a very fundamental problem that exists across education.
Okay. But it's a problem that in my research, and I focused a major part of my research on finding solutions, I have not found a lot of solutions that actually address, which I think, and my colleague thinks, it is a fundamental problem. And we need to address it, because we can shift organizational charts. We can do everything we want. We can, put the carrot on a stick and try to, trick our faculty in all kinds of changes. It's not going to change unless we address it head on. And that's what we're trying. I know it's a very daring challenge right now in front of us, but we gladly take it on. And I've seen already some changes, some massive changes. We have 13 universities that have joined us so far, which tells me that the need is there and that they're starting to use it creatively, which I'm excited about. So no further introduction. Again, stop me anytime you want. I'm going to take you into the solution, and then I'm pretty sure everything I say is going to start making sense. Now, I know some people are going to listen to this as a podcast or on a radio station. I'm going to do my best with the voice I have left to explain in words what my colleagues see on the screen. So ReadyForOnline is a web-based platform. You would go to demo.readyforonline.com or wiki.readyforonline.com or whatever name of the institution you would have. And so it's a web-based platform that centralizes the instructional design process in one location, which is very user-friendly. Now, this is the goal that we have, and that is every user in ReadyForOnline, you can see them right here. So the user they come on different roles. So you have subject matter expert, instructional designer, assessment academics, instructional quality, program head, and super administrator. Every user only sees things that pertain to their area. If you're a subject matter expert, you will never see any dashboard, anything. You just see your courses that you need to work on, and that is it. And I hope that, and I know that was already helping clarify who needs to do what. If you're a program head, you see all your programs and all your courses. You can go in every course, but your responsibility is to oversee the whole program and to align the entire program and to make sure that your program is aligned. So everybody works according to their own role and responsibility. So I'm going to present right now from a super administrator role, somebody that oversees like Larry that oversees the entire school of online over there, or all the programs, for example. That's the view that you would have. So you can see how many courses you have, how many courses are in development, how many courses are completed, and the total number of courses. And so this already gives you a snapshot of what I have to work here, what's coming up down the pipe, and all the courses that I have and who's working on what. You can invite users very easily, just first name, last name, email, and you invite them in a role. And then you can create courses just as easy in ReadyForOnline or programs, right? And then when you have all your courses in ReadyForOnline, this is basically the image that you have to oversee your courses. So you have the program the course is in, the course number, the course title, who's working on the course, who are the admins working on the course, the instructional designer, and the workload of the hours that the students are going to put into that course. Now, I'm going to come to that workload calculator that I think is one of the most powerful solutions we have to offer to curriculum design and course design. There's a difference between all courses and my courses, and that is because in higher education, I'm pretty sure I'm again preaching to the choir here, most admins have a faculty role as well. So they are, even if they're instructional designers, some of them teach as well. If they're deans, they teach as well. This differentiates between the courses you are overseeing or the courses that you are developing or teaching. So if you click on my courses, these are just the courses that you are directly responsible for. The software has two tracks. One is course development, and the other one is curriculum mapping. So course development, and when you click on a course, on the left-hand side on the menu, if you're a faculty, you can see all the tools that we have, all the features that we have developed for courses. So you have course timeline, course information, course planner, bibliography, course content, grading, syllabus, preview, and assessment map. All these are tools and features developed specifically for you to improve your course. Now, the main or the largest elephant in the room is, how do we get faculty to use it? How do we get faculty to use a software for their course development? And I only have one selling point. Besides the fact that their deans and all the people are going to have to force them to do it, besides that, my commitment to the faculty, and at Moody Bible Institute, all three schools, so Moody Bible Institute, Moody Theological Seminary, and Moody Distance Learning, have adopted this solution unanimously. So even full-time faculty in one of the most conservative and traditional institutions out there consider that this is a good solution to use. But this is the commitment we have to them. If you do the first four things, if you put your course information, if you actually plan your course, if you add your bibliography, your content into the bibliography, if you do all those, we do the hard work for you. The grading, the syllabus, the export, and the assessment map, the accreditation standards will do that work for you. You do what you do best, and that is get your course ready to be taught, get your course in a measurable format, get lesson objectives, get assignments in there that are very, very good. You focus on that, and we'll focus on the trivial matter that no faculty want to be bothered with. Grading, how many points each assignment has, the syllabus, and so on and so forth. That's the selling point. You do what you do best, we do what we do best. So I'll show you how that works. So the course information, I'm a super administrator, so I have access to change different things, right? They would just see, the SME, the subject matter expert, will only see a preview of this. You get to add, as a course assignment, you get to add this course to whoever you want to add it to, just by simply adding a name, and that person would see would see the course in their account. You have the type of the course, all the information about the course, the name of the course description, and so on and so forth, and the course objectives. Now, I want you to see that this software is not just a repository of information. It is an instructional design software. What do I mean by that? If you want to add a course objective, the Bloom level is built in. You get to see it, and when you say, for example, you say, I want you to adapt, one of the Bloom level is adapt, the software chooses the Bloom level for you. So based on the verb that you're using, the software says, okay, this is an adapt. Now we're going to do a lot of things with making sure that your course has a progression from the week 1 to week 8, from first course in the program to 4,000 level courses, using the Bloom level within each structure. But you can see that I'm already helping the SME develop a course, not just asking them to develop it. I give them tools and features that are going to help them in the course development process. And I'm asking them to connect this course objective to a student learning outcome. I do this at the program level and at the course level, and I'll come back to this at the course level, right? Once you do, you have all your course objectives that are measurable: examine, recognize, apply, demonstrate, apply, develop. These are measurable outcomes. These are not grow spiritually. I've seen too many of those, right? These are measurable outcomes that you can build assessments upon. But I'm not just asking them to come up with lesson objectives and leave them with a blank sheet of paper. I'm giving them tools to do so, right? So I have the course information. The course planner is when you want to plan a course, whether to revise it or to develop it from scratch. I'm giving them the course title, the course description, the course objectives, and then a blank sheet of paper with the titles. Now, if they put a title here and say, this is week 2, I say this is week 2 for the title. I can change it. I can interchange this title in every week, and that becomes available in the course content under that week. So in week 2, this becomes the title of the week 2 innovation. Now, if I change it here and I say this is week 1, actually, the title for week 1, you understand what I'm doing here just for display purposes. This becomes here. This gets moved here in the course under the week 1. And you can change them. You can interchange them manually. Right? So this is week 1. I switch it to week 1, and that becomes put in the course content, right? So just small features where if you do work on one page, the software does the work for you in any other place. And you can take notes. And everybody that has access to the course, you can take notes in here and it's auto-save, right? So collaboration. An instructional designer can leave notes here, and the program head, everybody can leave notes to say. And we're building a more robust collaboration module where everybody can speak into the course template. Bibliography is one of the most powerful features we have. Because with, and I'll show you the power of this feature, is if you click on one button and add the ISBN, you add the ISBN number, the software finds the book for you. And it gives you the picture of the book, and it gives you all the information about the book, and also it tells you if other courses are using this book. And you can see this book on Amazon with one click, because a lot of faculty choose books on our courses that are worth $1,200 on Amazon without considering for 1 second what our students are going to do to purchase this book, right? And also, this is one of the places where I've seen the breakdown of communication between SMEs and instructional designers or SMEs and faculty teaching that course. They don't pay attention to the ISBN number. They put an incomplete ISBN number, and all of a sudden this creates an entire mess for faculty having to deal with emails to administration, email to students, so on and so forth, for one small item that they've put an incomplete without checking it. This makes sure that this ISBN number is complete, and it brings the right information here. But you can add articles, videos, audio, web link, other. And the reason we do it sliced, you do it by author, by first name, last name, and all that, is because we give the possibility at the campus level for you to choose the formatting type that you want to use. So if you want to choose Arabian, MLA, all your resources in all your courses are formatted according to that standard. So we do the work for you, right? After you've added your content, this is week 1. Now I'm going to choose really quick a new course, and I'm going to choose a new course that doesn't have much information on it. So I can show you in the course content what faculty see the first time they log in and they want to build a course. Very simple. So you see on the front end is very user-friendly, very simple. Hey, add a lesson objective. That's all I'm asking you. Just add a lesson objective for this week. And on the back end, it has a lot of complexity, right? And I think this is the paradigm that we should use with faculty to give them very user-friendly solutions, but on the back end to allow the complexity to be handled by the admins. So I say add a lesson objective, and the same thing that, if they're going to add a lesson objective, I'm going to go back to the course that has the lesson objectives built in. If you add a lesson objective, it forces you to connect it with the course objective. So I'm writing this lesson objective. I'm saying, okay, let me get ideas of verbs, right? And I say I want them to design, for example. And once you choose the verb, it chooses the level for you, and it forces you to connect this lesson objective with the course objective. Right here. To which course objective are you referring to? Okay, this one, and you've added it. And then you move on to add study materials for the week, and you choose it from bibliography. You see, once you build your bibliography, you never have to retype it in every week. You just choose that week. I want this week, I want them to read this book. Now, this is the power of the software that I haven't seen very much on the market. If you want them to read 20 pages, the Workload Calculator is already telling you that they're going to read, the students are able to read 67 pages per hour. If the reading is, let's say, density, some new concepts, and the purpose for them is to understand, not just the survey, they're going to read 28 pages per hour, which means that you are really, just in this week, they're going to have to study 15 hours. With all the reading that they have to do. So you visibly can see how your education, that's why our tagline is transforming content into a learning experience, because it forces you to think of the learner. How are they going to learn? And so I'll give you an example. Here on the left-hand side, you see that each week has, this week 8 hours, next week 5, next week 4, this week 3, but the next week 11 hours of work. They cannot plan their life. There's not a rhythm to their learning. This week, 3 hours of work, but next week, 12 hours of work. That does not create a good learning experience for the learners, right? So you keep that in mind. But you also can prove to your accreditors that this course is truly a 3 credit hour course. Because I think we have 3 credit hour courses that are 70 hours of work. Well, we cheated that student of 1 credit. And that is a problem, right? I think that is a problem. Now, assignments, the same thing, because we have reading rights and writing rates, right? So reading rates and writing rates. So let's say you want to give them a paper to write. You put a title there, whatever the title is going to be, a description, and then you're forced to connect this to a lesson objective. What lesson objective does this assignment meet? And then let's say it's late at night and you don't like online students. You give them a 5-page paper to write, right? Well, that impacts your workload calculator tremendously. And it shows you that it's going to take them, if it's a single space or double space, if it's argument, if you want them to build an argument or just reflection, narrative, drafting, not drafting, it shows you that how much students are going to actually spend working on this assignment. And also we have different assignment types, which allows students to think that all the assessment is not just discussion boards and written papers. Spice it up a little bit, allow for different learning styles to be accommodated, because not everybody learns by writing a paper, right? So you can see that we've built a lot of tools, and then the same thing with discussion. If you add a discussion, you have discussion board online, in-class discussion or live webinar, what kind of discussion this is, because this software is as easily being used for campus as it is for an online course or program. Now, after you've done all this, and you see the workload calculator tells you where you should land with your course. This is a 3 credit hour course, 8 week long. It calculates for you where your course should land. It also gives you details for the whole course, that you have them read 500 pages. They're going to study these many minutes. They have these assignments. It tells you what your course is doing. So the workload calculator is very powerful to have all your courses or other programs done like this. Now, before you ask me, which normally all of you should ask me, well, my numbers are not like your numbers. Where did you come up with these numbers? 2 answers immediately. And I know Vicky is shaking her head because she's an instructional designer at heart. And she's saying, well, truth is relative in this area. I can tell you that yes, it is, and no, it's not. So we have a lot of research behind this that shows the numbers for the average student reading rates and writing rates. But we also put the power of this tool in your hands. So every campus, on the campus settings on the left-hand side, on the campus settings, every campus has the ability to adjust those numbers for your own campus. So you see citation formatting, learning taxonomies, if you don't want to use Bloom, want to use something else, assignment types, you can add assignment types. But the workload calculator, right, let's say we have 16 hours per credit at Moody. But if you want to have 25 hours per credit, Harding University offers more hours per credit in different venues. If you want to have different hours per credit, you adjust it. The workload calculator adjusts completely. You can change all the numbers in here, including the reading rates and the writing rates for your own institution. But once you did, everybody has to comply to the same measurement. And now it creates the same rhythm in every course. And you can prove to any accreditor or any student, you're going to spend 50 hours in this course learning, guaranteed. There's a disclaimer there, and you can plan things around that, right? So that's what's happening with the workload calculator. Now, I made a promise that if the course is aligned, if every lesson objective is measurable, if every assignment is connected to a lesson objective, we do the rest, which means let's start with grading. That's why a lot of people don't want to change their assignments and stuff in the classes, because now they need to recalculate all the grades and all the points and all the things in their course. We do that for them with an auto grade button. So we assign points or weight to different papers or different assignments based on the workload. If this has 3 hours of work, has these many points. Now, how I know, not everybody's going to like that. You can do it based on category. You want your written papers to have 60%. You want your discussions to be 20%. You want your journals to be 10%. And then you want your presentation to be 10%. And so once you save, it recalculates all the points according to your categories. It took me, if you calculated, 5 seconds. So, and you can also see a visual element of how many types of assessments you have in this course. You only have written paper and discussion boards. What a typical online course, right? You want to have a diversity here of all kinds of assessments. That's my preferred quality course that has various types of assessment, not just discussion boards and written papers, right? But you see how easy, and you can do it based on percentage or based on points. Once you've done all the grading and all that, the syllabus is completed for you. The school has a syllabus template that you can build. Every campus, every school can build a syllabus template from scratch. But once you build it, this gets populated. You can download it as a PDF or a Word document, and it looks exactly like your syllabus, and it pulls the information. It actually pulls the information from your course. So you see, this is the innovation course. It's the title of the course description, the course objectives, everything, the textbooks, everything you want to have in the syllabus for all your syllabi, the program are going to be the same. So you create, and now you can download all the syllabi with one click of a button for all your courses and all your programs. This saves everybody a handful of time. And, you know, I was just talking with the program head from a different university that said they were 3 weeks into the courses and they were still chasing faculty for their syllabus. Right? I think that should never happen. I think that's a poor experience for those students to not have a syllabus, but you started the class 3 weeks already, right? But also this keeps consistency, because you as a university or a campus can have guidelines or standards, announcements in every syllabus that nobody can touch. These are my disclaimers as a university. No faculty can touch those. But everything else in the course is there. Now, the number one question we're dealing with is, how do you move this course from ReadyForOnline to your LMS? And so we are working very hard to be fully integrated with the 4 major LMSs on the market, right? Which is Canvas, Blackboard. I said it in that order. Canvas, Blackboard, D2L, and Moodle. Those are the 4 largest at this point. So you can integrate, so you can push your course template into the LMSs. But that was not my main concern, really. That I didn't start with that. That was not my main concern. Because where we are right now, we're in between two, there's a massive gap in the market. What's the gap? On the one hand side, people are using all kinds of things to do the course development manually. Dropbox, Google Docs, Word documents, emails, all the things that they're using right now to do everything I just did in one location, and you see the power of it. And on the other hand, is every LMS that I've researched is missing the course design component. They've not built an instructional design pathway. They've built a put your course in my LMS. That's it. They've missed on this curriculum development and on the course development, and they've just allowed you to build courses there, but without giving you the rigor of the instructional design process. So ReadyForOnline centralizes that missing component of LMS, and you can go to any LMS you want. My desire is that when we grow so big that we have all the features built and ready for online, no school is dependent on an LMS, even though you get to choose the LMS you want to use. But switching LMSs is not a life-threatening experience that a lot of people experience right now, is that you need to move all your content, your course templates, and the golden nuggets of your institution, which is your content, sits outside of depending on an LMS. You put it in whatever LMS you want down the road. So you build your courses, you rebuild them, you revise them, you build your curriculums here, and then you move your course to have it taught there. That's the main vision behind this, right? So you see how easy it is to move it, because you can download it, the whole course, you can download it with one click of a button, the entire course, everything in the course. You can download it. And yes, Vicky.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but at this point, do you have anything built within this program where you can email the different people in their roles and keep track of communication regarding course development?
So we are building a very, very robust communication, what's it called? A feature or module between, and it's not just communication, but approval processes, where when a SME has done with the course, they can submit it for the ID to revise it. The ID, the instructional design, is going to submit it to the program head that say, I've done with this course. So not just communication, but approval. And we have a communication, like an actually chat communication feature that is going to be built in to allow communication easily between all the people that are added to a course template. So the SME, ID, program head, director of assessment and accreditation can come and see the course. Anybody you want to give them temporary access or full access are going to be able to leave comments in the course template. Not on the course content, next to it. You don't touch the content, you don't change it, that's the SME. Not even the ID is allowed to change the content. You just make recommendations and changes based on the area that you want them to improve. So that feature is in development right now. The way we do it now is the manual course planner. You leave your comments in the course planner. But there's going to be it's actually in development. So a very good question, because I think, so at this point right now, you can have, it's better than a Google document. You can have multiple people seeing the same course without having to gain the various accesses and do exchange of documents left and right, and you don't know which version they send you, all that mess. You can have all these people reviewing the same course at different stages of development. And so, and I want to show you just one more thing, which I think is one of the most powerful things. So you can export your course, you can click on this, and it's going to take the entire objectives HTML formatted directly into Blackboard or LMS or Moodle, wherever you want to take it. So to move an entire 8-week course is going to take you half an hour, 40 minutes, you're done. But the rigor that it took to develop that course, that whole course, is right here, ready for online. The course template is protected from all the mess, right? And now let me show you one of the most powerful features that is going to help me explain the curriculum development, right? This is the assessment map feature, the visual element to your course. Your course is in the Master of Arts in Business Administration. You can see the program description of where your course is. You can see the program educational goal and student learning outcome that your course ties to. Now, these are placeholders here, okay? That's why you can't see the whole thing. And then it shows you to which, I'll just take this example here, to which student learning outcome this course objective ties into. You can see your lesson objectives that tie into the course objective and the assessments or activities or assignments that tie into the lesson objective. But you can also see that in this course, you have a lesson objective that is not met by anything. You can visually see that your course is not aligned. Why do you have an objective that has no purpose? And also, why do you have assignments? Because we didn't want to put them required. So when I showed you that you're asked to connect a lesson objective with the course objective, is not required. I ask you to do it, but I don't require it. Because we all know that the course development happens in iterations. The faculty might just come and put the course, he has an idea about a course objective, he just types it, but he doesn't have time to sit there and connect them. He's going to come back and do it. So I wanted to allow that flexibility for course development to just put sticky notes in there. But then once you miss it, you can visually see it in your assessment map. Look at your course. And I think this is beautiful to see. I mean, the moment we launched this and I got to see visually my first course for the first time, it was such a good experience. to see that I had quite a few of red boxes. And I thought my course was perfect. But there were lesson objectives that I missed. I was so excited to put 3-4 lesson objectives, but I didn't build enough assessment in the program to meet all those. Now, imagine this map at the curriculum level, where you get to see these boxes are your courses. You get to see all your courses and all your curriculum, to which program educational goal do they tie into. And you can do assessment or curriculum revision based on that visual. You get to see, okay, I have 20 courses that tie into this spec, but only 3 courses that tie into this program educational goal. I'm not meeting my educational goals with enough material. I need to move things around. But once you do it, you're able to go in the course itself and adjust that change. And once you adjust it, the course has done the work for you. It moves on the map for you. It does all that for you. So I think you can already, any instructional designer can appreciate the power of this tool to revise content, to revise curriculum, and to keep an ongoing, and we're going to keep a repository of all your changes for the past 5-10 years. So now you get an accreditation visit, you can show them clearly. At Tyndale, I was thinking when you're thinking you need to revise your entire curriculum to be ADA compliant and disabilities and all that. You can show visibly to your accreditors, to your visitors, to say, okay, look, this is how my courses were. These are my programs. Look at my changes across the last 2 years of all the changes that I made in every course and all that to be compliant visually.
That is attractive.
So now I want to entertain questions in the 17 minutes that we have left. Again, I went through major categories, right?
That is an amazing program from an instructional design perspective, but also from the program and the university perspective, as far as looking at the assessments, trying to determine if your programs, if your courses are meeting those goals and objectives. I think that is amazing. I like the fact that you have the time allotted for the course and how much time it takes, because that was a big SACS requirement. We had to go back and make sure, that this is a 3-hour course and they're spending allotted time to the same as a face-to-face course. The Bloom level is pretty amazing. I think I had written down something and you answered it. So let me look at my other question. So this is on the market. So, what is the cost for this type of program for a university or an individual?
Vicky, I'm so happy you asked that question, because this is one thing that we don't hide at all from. So we offer a solution, not a business. This is a solution. So it's a very fixed price. It's $150 per course per year. $150 per course per year. What do I mean by that? So if your university has 10 courses, you would pay $1,500 per year to have unlimited access to users, features, everything. That's it. And by the end of the year, so the 11-month, the 29-day, you say, you know what, I'm only keeping 8 courses because these 2 courses, I don't need them. You can set them inactive. That's where we're going. You don't have to use them, and you're not paying a renewing fee. So that first year, to have access to all the features, everything, you've only paid $1,500. The next year, you might be paid $1,200, $1,000. If you're a university that has 300 courses in all your programs, you pay $45,000 a year to have access to everything. All the users, all the 300 people are in there. You're paying way less than you would pay one instructional designer in salary to oversee all that.
Right.
So it's a fixed price. So the small universities, and we've partnered with different Bible colleges and different colleges in the global South. I know it's an interesting terminology, but people that they're really fully funded, they can't afford it, and we offered it for a reduced price because our desire was for them to really improve the quality of their education and how they do things. So it's the price is fixed. We're not thinking of growing too much on that. That's because we really are passionate to make sure the university use it and scale with it. Hey, getting ready for online, it's 3 clicks away. Create an account. Danny's going to create an account, even a free account. When you're ready to put a course in, we have 2 courses in you can play with. When you're ready to put your own courses in there, add 2, add 3. Get your lowest hanging faculty fruit to put a course. They're more techie friendly and all that. To put a course in there and to show the power of the tool. and then put an entire program in there and show the curriculum mapping of the program. Show how easy it was for you to align your entire program from program description all the way to an assignment in a course. And then show the university and get buy-in with results, not with everybody needs to comply.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So that's the cost of it.
Okay. Can I just ask a couple of things?
Please do.
Did you just say that there's a demo available?
Yes. You can actually create an account, a free account with us, and then you're only paying per course that you add. But you have 2 courses to play with, 2 courses that we offer built in. You can play with them for as long as you want.
Okay.
So you already have. Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, Vicki. The second question, I'm a grand proponent of Bloom's taxonomy, but it is insufficient to talk about spiritual formation, where we're looking for effective change. Bloom was working with a fellow named Krathwold, and Krathwold did take it a step further into the affective domain. Could we incorporate Krathwold's taxonomy into this?
So over there in the campus settings, you can request another taxonomy, and we can adjust to your campus to say, what would that mean? Because we are Danny always says this to our clients, we're growing now, which means that we are so sensitive to our user base. If you say at Tyndale, we would like to have these types of assignments, this type of workload calculator like feature, and that, we have to listen to you very much and say, okay, let's build that for you and see how that's going to impact your learning. Okay. So we very much are sensitive to what you want to do. And honestly, I was part of your webinar. That's why now I'm selling our webinar in Fold. Come to webinars. These are powerful experiences. I was part of your webinar when we did talk about Bloom, right?
Yes.
And the moving in the effective area. And I wrote it down immediately to talk to Danny about a feature. What would that mean? I'll give you another example. I'm very passionate about Africa, South Sudan. I've been involved there for a long time. Uganda. We're going in discussions now to offer ReadyForOnline to the government of Uganda for their higher education institutions, right? But they function on a very different Goji. We function on pedagogy, andragogy, pedagogy, all this. Most of Western institutions failed African education because they didn't consider Ubuntu Goji as a completely different approach to education. So when you talked about an effective area, I'm very interested to see what would that mean in ReadyForOnline? How would that impact somebody to think through a different kind of progression for Bible colleges than for technical colleges? Mm-hmm. Regardless of that, I think that we cannot allow our user base to hide behind this is spiritual formation, so it can't be measurable.
Oh, it can too.
We just had the HLC accreditation visit at Moody, and the accreditor from, I'm not going to tell you who was in the committee, but he mentioned something that I loved. He said, in online education, we're very particular to make sure that what we do is measurable. And we can show you outcomes to say, look, we have empirical data. Traditional education, they say, when I walk into the classroom, what happens in there is magic. You can't measure it.
Yeah, I've heard that.
So I think it's not okay. We can't allow that to happen. We do need to measure it. Now, the way we measure it, I'm excited in different ways.
Okay. Well, I do think I'd like to play with the demo over the summer. So I'll get in touch with you and request an account.
Yep.
Yes, I do too. I'm sitting here thinking of people that I can contact that really would be useful. And if I did that as, an instructional designer. So yeah, it's a very useful tool. Very impressive.
Roland doesn't have too many questions because they've already adopted it at their institution.
Maybe Roland should tell us how he's using it.
Yep. We just signed them in a month or so ago. So
okay, since he's not there,
yes.
I'm trying to think of how to ask this. If I'm running, say, 10 courses per semester, mm-hmm. The cost is $150 per course. But could it be $150 for 10 courses that I can then just flip courses in and out for the rest of the semesters.
So, because I know your case is a little different, which is always intriguing, and I love that challenge, right? Especially with the distributed learning.
Yes.
That's why I ran to join your webinar, and I learned so much from you, because I think I didn't want to sell this too hard. It was your webinar, and I wanted to step back. But as you were really talking about it, I said, there's a huge handshake between what we're doing here and what you're doing, because where we are going is we're just developing. We're in development. We're adding more and more features, right? One feature that Vicky's going to love is the ability for the student comments and student data to come directly into the course template. No more surveys that have the mixed data of faculty and course in the same thing that nobody reads, faculty or the instructional designers. Students can now make comments. I was even thinking of allowing them to rate a certain assignment. To say, this assignment, how did you like it? This assignment. And that gets as a qualitative data in ReadyForOnline. But even if that's not so granular, their comments about feedback for the course go straight into the course template. Now the SME or faculty needs to see what people thought anonymously about the course. And they need to adjust that based on primary data. Another feature is with the curriculum map. Let's say you have 100 courses in there, or let's say in your case at Tyndale, you have 20 courses in here. But you want to build a distributed learning course with content from different courses. You can actually have a map of all the assignments, all the books, all the things, and build your course with as a wizard option. Build a new course with existing content. Instead of you going and doing that manually, going in every course in Moodle, doing all that, you do it here, you stitch them together, and you have a course built already. Because once they're in, and you see, we have the information put in ReadyForOnline sliced, right? Everything, even one lesson objective, everything, which means I can manipulate the data in whatever shape or format I want. If you want to have a book list from all the courses, I can export that for you. If you want to have all the lesson objectives, a map of all the lesson objectives, we can export. I can manipulate the data however I want to. So in your case, you can create 10 courses, and then change the content in them however you want to. You can adjust the course in them. But once you add a new course, it's a brand new course, you just pay another $150. But that's $12 a month.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, I'm not balking at the price at all.
Yeah.
Now, when I was doing my webinar, one of the issues, I'd just like to bring this up for people who are tuning in over the radio. I asked you, I mentioned in particular a modular program we've got, which is a 5-week model, 4 hours a week. And we're taking 12-week courses and ramming it into that model. And I believe you said that was the kind of thing that it could do very quickly. Very quickly.
Because you take your content from that. You can change your course from 12 weeks to 4 weeks with the click of a button. You can say, okay, this is a 4-week course, and then you just put your content in those 4 weeks however you want to. But even the workload calculator adjusts. You can say, okay, I want to hit these many numbers of hours into this course. Then you actually get to see if you are doing it. Because that's what gets lost in this translation from 8-week course to a 16-week course, from 16-week course to 10-week courses. People lose sight of, okay, how many hours are still people are going to learn in this? Is this still a 3-credit-hour course? Then they still need to have that many hours per credit. I'll give an example.
I find that with the modular program, that's one of the things I'm constantly explaining, that we've done our time calculation based upon Carnegie units, and I'm taking a 12-week Carnegie unit and applying it to a 5-week course.
Yep.
So you still got 126 hours to invest.
But now you have to be creative, and that's what the software allows you. This is a powerful tool, and when we put the workload calculator side by side with the course creation sheet, where you create your course, the workload is right here. That's where magic happens, not in the classroom. I really think that's what magic happens, because now you can do it in real time. You can adjust. You don't have to finish your course and then go to an Excel file and do your calculations, because nobody comes back and says, oh, now I'm not in the mood to change it anymore. You actually get to adjust it right there on the spot to say, okay, you know what? I have 2 hours left. Let me add a discussion in there. Or I have no more time left. Let me take some stuff out.
Okay.
Okay, I have a question. Like, you were showing how to put in assignments or assessments, and then I think one of the options in the drop down was the quiz. If you're importing quiz questions from a publisher's textbook, or you have quizzes that have already been developed in your LMS, Are those imported in there? Is that even part of the module, or do you have to set those up once you've moved all this content into the LMS?
So in the assignment, what you do is, I'll show you, it's just easier. The way it's quite basic right now. So you can just add, okay. So let me go to course content. If you want to add a quiz, you just add all the questions and stuff. My main concern right now for an assignment as a quiz was the time that it takes to do so. So once you do it, right, you put the title of the quiz and you add the questions here. Question 1, the same way that they have it in Blackboard or in the LMS, right? 1, and you have them here. So when it exports it, or you can just add a document, you can just attach a file with all the questions, right?
Because basically, like, you can use Exam View, and I'm trying to think of some other ones that you actually use to import that. Would that be a feature that you could import that in some format? I mean, I know at one time we were creating them in Word and putting them in the right format that it could be read through the LMS. So I guess
Yeah, so instead of putting them in Word, now at this point, you just put them in ReadyForOnline here as a Word paper. But we are exploring a quiz builder, because the one that they have in Blackboard and even in Canvas are really convoluted. They're not user-friendly. There's so many clicks that you need to do to create one question. It's ridiculous. I don't know why people didn't think about this whole quiz. And there's so many options. We are building a quiz builder. For now, you just put the quiz in there. You connect it with the lesson objective. And you put the amount of time that the students are going to spend on this, so you can put in the workload calculator. So those are the features for the quiz builder, but it's still manual. You're muted, Vicky. I'm sorry. You're muted. You are muted, Vicky.
Okay. So one of the things that was a big selling point for faculty is knowing how we could quickly get their quizzes in, and that was one of the things. If they could get their quizzes in and it's automatically grading it for them, then they saw a time saving in that. So I feel like that's really an important feature of making sure this isn't manual, where I'm going to have to manually type in my questions into the system.
Yeah, but those are two different things. That's an LMS feature,
right.
The self-grading, right?
Yeah. Right.
And then, they still need to come up with their questions.
Okay.
Hey, Vicki.
Huh?
We use Respondus here on our campus, and Respondus is a good tool if you want to quickly take your typed out questions and turn it into an LMS quiz, or even turn it into multiple, formatted paper quizzes. We use Respondus on our campus.
I had used that too. That was the other one I couldn't remember. Respondus and Exam View are two that I had used a lot.
Right. Yeah.
We are looking for APIs and integrations. We don't have to recreate the wheel, and we are actually exploring to be integrated with different solutions that already do quiz building, and you can do it right here next to your workload calculator. But you are an instructional designer. I've worked in the instructional design field for quite a few years. I very much discourage quizzes. I think faculty should have a very difficult time answering to what lesson objective does this address, and how do you address a lesson objective of, I want you to demonstrate an ability by answering a quiz. For me, that is the lowest form of education, the weakest form of education. I think that's the cop-out of all education, quizzes. You're not really teaching them. You're trying to see if they got it, but you didn't teach them. You just told them to read a book. And so we really want to push hard on our faculty to think a quality program is built with the quality course. The way I do assessment, and unfortunately our time is done, but the way I do assessment, I'm the program head for a Bachelor of Science in Theology and Cultural Engagement. And I've toyed a lot with how do you assess if students are ready for the marketplace or they got the information for the program. Now, this is the way I did it. The last two courses in the program are Cultural Studies Major Project and Cultural Studies Research Project. They're the same thing. Students are working for an actual organization resolving cultural challenges for an actual organization in the field. Right now, I have a group of students working for an organization in Uganda, helping them launch a primary school. And they're resolving 4 cultural challenges that organization gave them to resolve. What came up is that they had so many gaps in knowledge, not so many, but quite a few, in the way that they're ready to face an actual project, that I can guarantee you the written papers and the quizzes did not prepare them to resolve an actual problem. And now I'm reassessing my entire program in the light of the gaps of skills that I've seen my students have. It's our responsibility to get our students ready for the marketplace, but we don't ask the question. We just want to make sure that they get a 3-credit hour course and done. So ReadyForOnline is committed to a different approach to education, an approach where you're really teaching them to theologize, to be cultural specialists, to be consultants, to be specialists in their field, to really know what they're talking about, not just head knowledge.
Thank you, Alin. We sure appreciate this webinar. You've done an excellent job showing us the ReadyForOnline program. I think I can see that there are benefits for many universities and instructional designers out there that will be beneficial for online education. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
We will close our webinar at this point, and we appreciate your time. I will definitely be contacting you for a demo and to discuss some things about your program at a later.
And we are at ReadyForOnline.com. ReadyForOnline.com.
ReadyForOnline.com. Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We hope you enjoyed the program and will join us back for another show on WCAT Radio. This is Sebastian Mahfood. Good day.